Hey again, everyone. It's Lewis here. Just presenting my Milestone 4 topic, which is scoping my project needs. So I might just start with what core skills and capabilities would be required in the project team for developing an FI chatbot, and that's sort of the AI tool that I think we decided would be the most beneficial and most valuable for our stakeholders after we held the ideation workshop. I've got some specific team members in here that would definitely be able to contribute in the project, such as myself. I've got product management experience, and my sort of role would be setting the overall strategic direction and high level requirements, overall reporting, risk management, and things like that. Um, Also, change management and communications, stakeholder engagement would be a definite role there that I'd probably need to play. But just overall as well, I think we would probably go down an agile methodology or agile framework of developing this tool. So we would have a Scrum team, and within that Scrum team, we would have a product owner, a Scrum Master, and a development team. And within that development team would be all the skills necessary to be able to implement the AI tool. And that would probably include, business analysts, stakeholders in the business areas, data scientists, data engineers, machine learning engineers, AI specialists, AI strategists, change managers, and things like that. Um, but yeah, more specifically, obviously, we've got people in our team that would be able to fill in some of those positions. Mohit, he's got, quite a lot of business analysis experience, ICT experience, and he can look in ways and how it can be developed and implemented as best as possible, and particularly from an operational standpoint, and also, his liaison with ICT and how they would communicate with us as a business, as the business owners. Mark would also be has quite a extensive experience in terms of training and development, and so he would be able to help out with change management and you know support and training towards our end users and stakeholders. Prashar again would help out from a help desk training standpoint, pointing people in the right direction. Melissa is our branch's designated test manager, so she would be sort of responsible for setting up those overall testing environments, looking at developing the test scripts and user cases, recording those in the right tool. Yeah, she would be responsible for all that sort of stuff in the dev and UAT environment. And just going now, just going into the sort of the skills that we probably need to acquire and get resourcing and funding for would be designated data scientists and engineers, AI machine learning engineers, and AI specialists, AI strategists to be able to actually help us configure and build the tool to meet our business stakeholders' specifications and meet their needs basically. I've probably missed a few, but that's just a bit of a starting point at the moment. I don't really want to over engineer this too much or overcomplicate this. As at the start, we just want to have a simple chatbot that would be able to answer simple finance queries, and when that's successful, then we could go down the route of maybe implementing more complicated requests that stakeholders may have. So the key ethical issues to be managed, just from a data perspective, I don't think the information at this stage, at least, is particularly sensitive. At the end of the day, it's more just a information training tool that would be able to help people get the information they need, such as access questions, what access do I need to be able to post journals, or maybe from a training perspective, how do I post GLs, or how do I clear clear accounting journals, or how do I, how do I look at a drawdown report? Where do I find that and things like that? Um, it's not particularly sensitive information at this stage, but it definitely, definitely security is still important to manage and be aware of. Yeah, definitely. And I think that from a security perspective, who's actually making those decisions and setting up those algorithms and uh, making the information available, who's responsible for actually configuring and building the tool, is definitely something to be aware of. I think potentially a reduction in workload for some help desk staff is something that also needs to be considered. There will be, hopefully with this tool, there will be a reduction in sort of more simple, frequently asked questions that come through our mailbox that some staff may not have to answer, and that will free up a lot of work, a lot of time for staff. So we need to be able to reskill those staff to do other work, or have them work on other projects or implementations that they can fill their time in. Um, yeah, and again, sorry, I've already touched on this, but we need to ensure the AI tool is used properly, and we're very clear and transparent as to how it would be used and how it would benefit our stakeholders, and also make it very clear as to how our information is gathered, how we make decisions on further enhancing or changing how the tool works. We need to be very open and transparent about that. I mean, I'm not sure whether this is so much an ethical consideration, but obviously in every project, all stakeholders need to be consulted, and we need to be able to outline the key drivers that, why we're actually doing this, how this is going to benefit them ultimately, and what our plans are going forward to be able to make it better and more efficient for them. Obviously, in all projects, we're going to have some roadblocks. That's something that you can't really avoid, but it's always good to sort of think about that. Basically the key to all risk management planning. But potential roadblocks, we're going to probably have trouble acquiring the funds to be able to implement the tool. We need to have a solid business case as to why this would benefit our stakeholders, and be able to quantify how much we would actually need, and that would be done through a formal costing process, and that with the business case will hopefully secure some funding for us. But obviously there's some back and forth negotiations that need to be had to be able to acquire those funds. But being logical and working through that, I'm sure we'll be able to secure something. Acquiring the necessary skills is obviously will be a challenge for us. I mean, AI is starting to be used and implemented everywhere across the world, and it has been actually for a couple of years now. So there might be a bit of a shortage in those skills. So even if we do have the funds, it might be a bit of a challenge for us to actually acquire those data scientists, those machine learning specialists, and those strategists to be able to actually get the project up and running. Um, Next is obviously developing an AI culture around using the tool and getting people familiar with how AI works, and that it's not going to actually um, make people redundant necessarily. It will make their jobs easier actually. At this stage, at least, it is an assistive measure, not so much taking over jobs. I think, especially in terms of a chatbot. And obviously change management, getting people familiar with the product, and embracing the tool, and using it at a regular basis will take some time and effort and patience, I suppose. And that I think training and education goes hand in hand. We need to be open and transparent about what's happening, and how it's going to be used, how it's going to look and feel, and once it's implemented, have that support and help desk support to be able to help people navigate the tool, and use it to the most effective level. And lastly, sustainability and improvement. Once the AI tool is implemented, just having that support available from ICT and business to be able to implement it, sorry, to be able to help people use it consistently and not lose trust in the tool, and obviously getting more enhancements and improvements would help as well. That's all from me now. I hope I answered the question relatively, or did the milestone relatively well. Any questions, queries, or feedback, just please reply back to the relevant Slack link. Thanks, everyone. Cheers. Bye.